Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Andy here. I'm stalling the intro while I wait for my girlfriend to come. And we're going to be matching beanies. Look at this. Where's your beanie? Come on. Chop, chop, chop.
Hello.
We are Kirby brothers.
Yeah, today we are going to talk about some gratitude.
What are we grateful for? I'm tired
So
and
we're going to have a nice time.
we're going to have a nice time.
And I guess maybe one thing that I can start off by expressing gratitude for is that I think we're a lot better at dealing with our own physical symptoms, whether that's like pain or being tired or discomfort or any sort of emotion, frustration. Because there used to be a time not that long ago, maybe a couple of years ago, when you being tired and sometimes my being tired was like the end of the world and things were terrible and it was a day of suffering. And I think now we're very good at just like acknowledging that, yeah, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and you either do stuff anyway or maybe you don't do that much stuff, and that's perfectly beautiful.
Yeah, and some stuff that's helped with that a lot is just noticing our thoughts and our tiredness and our physical symptoms. I used to suffer a lot when I was sick, for instance. Anytime I had a cold, it would be like the end of the world for me, and I would just complain and be very negative and never get anything done. And I really suffered. But at some point, I realized, wait, I don't have to suffer just because I'm sick or because I'm tired. I can still have a somewhat productive day. I can still have a fun day, even if it's not super productive. And that really was a huge switch for me, realizing that my mental state, I mean, we're talking about stoicism, but realizing that my mental state doesn't have to change just because the external world did change or my body changed or I'm tired or, I don't know, someone cut me off in traffic or something.
Yeah, and funnily enough, what we're doing now, or like we are basically just doing a recorded gratitude exercise with each other. That can really help with those days as well when you're not feeling your best, because when you sit in gratitude and you let yourself feel that feeling, even if you are tired, it's a lot harder to be unhappy, because you're like, yeah, I'm tired, but I've got a lot to be grateful for. Like, there's a lot of beautiful things in my life. Like, the amount of times that I have simply been grateful for, like, my warm jumpers, because it started to get, like, mildly cold. We live near the beach, so it's never cold, but it's mildly chilly in the mornings. It probably gets to about 10 degrees Celsius, and I, like, put on a warm jumper, and there's something that's pretty blissful about that feeling of, like, it's a bit chilly, you put on a warm jumper, and it feels like a little cuddle, and it's very nice.
Yeah.
I might go and ask, is there anything that you, Andy, are grateful for, big or little things?
Yeah, I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for what we get to do. I basically get to just sit here and coach people and help people. And obviously I do content as well. But it feels like my mission is just show up every day and give to people. And like, I get paid for that. We get to pay the bills for that. I get to support you. I get to support Cam. And all it really feels like I'm doing is just giving advice or helping people. Or really, it's more than advice. It's like being there and listening to them. It really does just feel like I listen to people and love them, and we get paid for that. That's a really weird, trippy thing. I was having this conversation with my good friend Jimmy the other day, where he's self-employed as well, and he doesn't work a job. He hasn't for like a year or two now. And we're having this conversation about how surreal it feels that we get to just do our own thing and we don't have to go to a 9 to 5. And every Monday morning, I swear to God, every Monday morning, when I watch people go to work at 8 a.m. in the morning, you know, we live next to a busy highway, and there's a lot of people that get very grumpy in the morning, like honking their horns and getting pissed off and, you know, don't cut me off in traffic. Fucker, I have to go to this job that I don't like.
And to be clear, we live in a beach town where there's like not even that much of like
Yeah, it's
city
not a
hustle.
crazy amount of traffic, but there's still enough traffic that this place goes from, at like 8 in the morning is when you hear people honking their horns. Other than that, you never hear anyone honking their horn ever, like ever. It's the most like chill place. And in the morning, people honk their horn. And I'm really grateful every single Monday or every morning where I'm like, man, I don't have to go and work this job. I get to just do this nice little community thing. I get to help people. People seem to like that. People leave nice comments a lot on the YouTube. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, and I think just generally people are really nice, and maybe it's something you've not really spoken about, but there have been occasional negative comments, and that's been a process to work through together, and you on your own quite a lot as well. But for the most part, both like the community that you've built and just people outside in general are really nice and sweet. And I was looking at a very lovely sunrise this morning, so that's definitely something I'm grateful for. It was like super vivid. I got up a little bit earlier than usual, And there were lots of people also just standing there watching the sunrise. It was really gorgeous. It felt like a lot of people, like separate people from their separate lives, coming together and just enjoying.
Looking at a pretty sunrise, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of beauty and peace and love in it. And there was just people acknowledging the beauty of nature, which is really lovely. And I think a lot of us have that inside of us, and sometimes it might take something like a really beautiful example of nature to maybe get in touch with that inner part of you that's inherently loving and happy. But I think it's really nice, and I definitely believe that we all have that in us.
Something I'm grateful for is obviously you. I'm grateful for how far we've come, and you and I have done a billion gratitude videos lately or over the years, but I'm grateful for how far we've come. I'm grateful for all the effort and time and love and patience that you've shown and that I've been able to show you. I'm grateful that we very much have a mindset of like every problem has a solution, and if there's ever anything that we're not happy with, we will just improve it. And sometimes, as we've really been focusing on lately, sometimes the solution is a series of tiny little solutions and baby steps to improving something. But I'm really grateful that there hasn't been anything we've kind of given up on and just said, oh, let's be unhappy with that. Or I guess I just have to accept that, and not in a peaceful acceptance, but I guess I just have to put up with that. Or I have to compromise. I have to make a sacrifice. We don't really ever make a compromise or a sacrifice. We don't want to. We don't believe in that. That seems like a recipe for hopelessness and passivity and feeling stuck and passive aggressive and all of that. So I'm grateful for you.
Yeah, and riffing off what you just said, I have a lot of gratitude for how much we've grown and our ability to deal with hurdles and the way that we treat each other and the love that we have for each other. And I think the really nice thing about, I guess, me being involved often enough on the channel is that there's definitely been a shift in the content over the years as well. And I think that speaks to our growth and how we continue to evolve. And I think the nice thing is that we will be able to continue, and you will be able to continue to share the things that you learn along the way. And as you grow, the content and the advice that you're able to give people will also evolve and change and improve. If I were to guess, it's going to become more loving, more peaceful.
It's the mission, yeah.
Yeah. And sharing a lot of that, because I guess that's the path that we're both wanting to go down.
Yeah, it's funny how much the channel's changed. Like, it used to just be a very getting laid channel. That was all I really cared about. I even used that phrase, getting laid, which is not really a phrase that I use anymore. You're not getting laid. You're sharing a sexual experience with another human being. You're having sex together. I guess you're giving lay. You're giving lay.
Maybe
you're
don't start
lay.
using that as a term, because people...
All right, guys, let's go out there and share lay. Let's share lays. But it is like I used to be very focused on like getting and like we got to get the pussy, we got to get the sex, and it's like, wait, there's another human being involved. How are you getting something? Also, aren't they having fun? Yes. So how are you getting something from them? I guess you're both sharing or you're giving. So that's changed. We talk a lot more about relationships. I occasionally talk about business, and let me know if you guys want me to talk about business or content creation or making money or any of that stuff. We talk obviously much more about, I guess you could call it spirituality, but if that word doesn't resonate with you, being more peaceful, being more loving, maybe you could call it enlightenment. That's something that resonates with me at times. But we've shifted, or we haven't even shifted the direction of the channel, because I still talk about sex all the time. We talk about threesomes, we talk about BDSM. I share my clients' wins. A lot of my clients literally sign up because they're like, I'm a virgin, I want to lose my virginity, or I'm just a guy who's always had an average sex life, I want an elite sex life. So we talk about sex and stuff like that, but it's like we've added in extra topics to talk about, and we've made it more that I'm talking about the different pillars of self-improvement. Before, all I really covered was like getting laid and maybe a little bit of fitness. Now it's like, having sex or sharing sexual experiences, relationships, love, self-love and mental health, stoicism, fitness, business, like money, friendships and social, like everything that you could possibly ever want to talk about, we get to now talk about. And I don't feel like there's anything off limits. We're even talking about fatherhood and stuff lately. I did a video or an article on my website where I just posted a long article that one of the guys in my coaching program wrote for the group and for the community about like what he's learned as a father. He's been a father for 7 years now. And so we're even talking about fatherhood and stuff. And I obviously don't have kids, but it's cool to be able to talk about that.
Yeah, it's been a really beautiful thing, because as you've mentioned, there's been a few fathers in the program that often come to work on their dating life. And obviously because you are going about asking the question, like, what do you want? And most people say, I want to be happy. And then you might go on to ask, like, okay, well, what does that look like to you? A lot of the time that does mean deepening the relationship with their kids. And so a lot of the time their focus actually shifts from just the general, like being a good father and focusing on that, because that's, if they ask themselves, probably what the more fulfilling thing is, or at least quite a few of your clients have said that. And I remember you saying something to me that to some extent you are helping these dads give their kids maybe the fathering experience that you might have lacked.
That I didn't get, yeah.
Because I don't think it's uncommon. I definitely have my own history, and I think a lot of people do, that maybe the relationship with our parents, or specifically fathers, mightn't have been exactly what we wanted. And I think the really beautiful thing is that you, as the coach helping these dads, is ideally going to give these kids the fathering experience that you wanted, which is, I think, a really, really beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's really cool. We get to basically teach these fathers, because a lot of the same tools apply. The tools that apply to like dating or business or just self-improvement in general absolutely apply to fatherhood. The same principles of like treat your kids like they're on the same team as you. You know, they're not the enemy, they're not the other, they're your teammates. Be honest with them, and like actually honest, not just saying that you're going to be honest, like deep actual honesty. Break the fourth wall with them. You know, we have one guy in the coaching program who's a father, and he was really terrified of not being a good father to his kids, and it was sort of clouding, or it was like a dark cloud over every decision he made as a parent, this like guilt and this shame of not being a good parent. And I was like, what if you just admit to your kids that you suck? Like, what if you just tell your 6 and 7-year-old kids, yo, hey, daddy doesn't really know what he's fucking doing because I'm a single father, mum left, I don't really know how to do this parenting thing, but I'm working on being a better parent every day. You kids can help if you want to, and we can come together, the three of us, and form this like beautiful family, and we will improve it every single week, and we'll do like a little accountability check-in with each other once a week. And I'll say to you kids, hey, like what could daddy do better as a father? What would you like from me? And what can you two kids do better? Like, how can I help with that? How can we all help each other and build this family? And so it's like all the same sort of tools that we use just in general self-improvement. It all applies to fatherhood. And to touch on something that you said before, yeah, it is funny how many of these like fathers, and we even had a mother in the group, how many of these parents come to the group wanting to just work on like dating or something, but then it shifts to like, holy crap, I could be using these tools to help with my relationship with my kid. And they're like, their relationship with their children radically transforms. And the same thing happens in general with other stuff. People will come to the group and say, I want to work on this particular goal. And then 3 weeks later, they've shifted and they go, holy crap, that wasn't really the thing that I care about. Or I've made improvements with that goal and I can see how it's going to work out. And I thought that was all I was coming to coaching for. But it actually turns out I can apply the same tools to these like other 5 areas of my life and make massive changes there. So yeah, it's a really fun experience when people come to the coaching, and Cam has said the same thing. We almost know, or we guess that they're just going to change goals like 6 weeks in, 8 weeks in, because almost everybody does. Or it's like they accomplish their main goal and then they work on these other goals. So it's kind of cool. It's like I never know what a new client is going to bring or what we're going to work on.
Yeah, and I guess that's the beautiful thing about it, is that it gets to be guided by whatever they're feeling. And I think you've told me that a lot of people express to you, like a lot of clients express to you, that a lot of the time they've not actually been asked, like, what do I want, or what makes me happy? Because I think sometimes I definitely do it, and I think a lot of people do it, where you tell yourselves you want the things that you're meant to want.
Yeah, especially as a man. I mean, women do it too.
You kind of have these goals that society says you should be having. Or
this is what a real man does. This is what a real woman does, yeah.
You're working towards the things that you're meant to want, whether that's like looking like a model, looking like a fitness model, or having a lot of money, or having the fancy car, or living in the right neighborhood, or having the right house, or having, you know, the wife and the 2.5 kids and the wife, like whatever it might be. And I think depending on where you grow up, what you're meant to want is different. But I think the lovely thing is that when you truly get in touch with what you actually want, there is almost a surprising nature to it of where you might be guided.
I think that's probably one of the biggest things that we do in the coaching program. Like one of the points of the coaching program, without people realizing it is they come to us for clarity. They don't realize that, but they're coming to us saying, hey, I think this is the goal that I want to work on. And I'm like, cool, why? And they go, well, what do you mean why? Like, shouldn't I want to have sex with 30 women? And I'm like, why? Why? And then they think about it and they go away and they come back and they go, you know what? I don't actually know if I give a shit about having sex with 30 women. It was just some goal that I thought I had to do in order to be some happy alpha male or some shit. I think what I actually want is to have sex with, I don't know, maybe 10 women, gain some experience, date some of them and see what happens. And maybe build something long term and have marriage and have kids. And I say, brilliant. So you want marriage and kids? Yes. Why? And then they go back and they think about it again and they're like, oh, fuck, why do I want marriage and kids? Well, I thought you were just supposed to do that as a man. I thought that's what we do. And, you know, people my age are starting to do that. So shouldn't I do that? And I'm like, why? Why do you want that? They'll think about it for a week and they'll go, okay, part of why is because I want to mentor someone. I want to raise someone. I want to give all of the love that I have in my heart to my child or my children and to my partner and my wife. And we would build something together and we would get to form this beautiful life together and go on adventures and all of that. And I'm like, there we go. Now you're starting to get to the why. Okay, go a little deeper. Why do you want that stuff? You know, I want to leave a mark on the world. I want to give back to the world. I feel like I've gained some beautiful thing by just being alive. And I would like to give that gift to the next person and show them how beautiful this world can be. And then I go, that is what you actually care about. You don't give a fuck about having sex with 30 women. Like that was irrelevant. That was just some random thing that you thought you should do because you saw that Andy sticks his penis in some vaginas sometimes and you thought that was cool. And like it is cool, to be clear. Sex is pretty amazing. But I love getting to the deeper reasons. And by the way, some people do still say, no, I really want to have sex with 30 women. That's really important to me. And they'll tell me why. And then brilliant, we make that happen.
Yeah, my understanding, and when you're speaking about clarity, like if somebody comes to you and they say, I want to have sex with 30 women, that can also be, you can ask that question and they might then become really certain of exactly why.
Sometimes they have really beautiful reasons for having sex with 30 women. And I'm like, brilliant, man, let's make that happen.
And then I think when you're sure as to why you want something and the reasons that this would add to your life, it makes it so much easier to seek that out and, like, I guess, go harder on that goal and really pursue it with all of yourself. I think, especially when it comes to goals like having a lot of sex, I think inherently for a lot of men, and you've expressed that a lot of clients have said this, that men can have a lot of shame about wanting to have a lot of sex because there's a lot of social stigma about that and using women and that being shallow. But as you said, when you go deeper as to why you want something and how it can add to your life and to other women's lives, it's so much easier to seek that out with the knowledge that this is a really positive, happy thing and there's no need to hold back in it.
Yeah, you try a lot harder when you know the why of why you're working on your goals. Like if you just say, I want $1 million, and I'm like, why? And you're like, I don't know, to be cool. You're not going to try as fucking hard. You're going to hit the hurdles or the stumbling blocks. You're going to have that day or that week or that month where you're in a rut. What's going to compel you to get off the couch and do a piece of content? Like you and I are literally sitting here today doing this video, even though I'm dead tired and I didn't want to record this morning. That's why we're doing just an easy, casual gratitude thing and why you're here, because it's easier for me to record when someone else, like when you're here. It makes it 10,000 times easier. Why are we recording when I don't want to? Because I have a beautiful vision of the future. I have a vision of the future where we make consistent fucking income for once. And how beautiful that would be to not have to stress about money. What would I do with that money? I would be able to support you. I mean, I already do, but like support you without the stress of having to like constantly grind and bring new people in. I would be able to fully support Cam and reward him for all of the beautiful effort that he has put in over the last like 3 years. So I'm doing it out of love for you. I'm doing it out of love for Cam. I would be able to walk past homeless people and actually stop and give them some money, which is something that I can't do anywhere near, or I don't do anywhere near as much as I want to, because it's like, I would love to sit there and give you $50, but I kind of can't. I need that money. Like, I would love to be able to do that. I would love to be able to give back to all of you with the money. I would love to be able to upgrade the equipment. You know, this microphone's kind of been broken a bit lately. I would love to pour more effort into building the channel and stuff like that. I have these very beautiful, big visions of the future. And that's what compels me on a day like today, where I don't want to record something, where I'm tired. I just want to freaking lay on the couch. But that beautiful vision of the future pulls me towards it. And I almost can't help but sit here and record something. But if I was just saying, oh, I want a ton of money. Why? I don't know, to be cool. I just want a Lamborghini. Why? I don't know. Lamborghinis seem cool. Like if I didn't have a reason for it, like there was no big vision of the future, then I probably wouldn't have recorded today. I would have been like, I don't give a shit, whatever. I'll play video games and drink alcohol and fucking twiddle my dick all day and just do nothing. So having a why really helps. That's something I never really thought about in the first couple of years of coaching. Like I wouldn't ask people why. They would come to me and say, I want to have a threesome. And I'd be like, cool, let's do it. And then like a lot of them achieved it, sure. But quite a few of them would have those ruts or those moments where they'd be like, I don't know if I care about this. And then my answer to that was to just force them. And obviously I can't force someone to do something they don't want to do, but I'd motivate them and give them a big, forceful, compelling, like David Goggins speech. And I'd be like, come on, bro, like how long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? Like, let's make it happen, bro. And like they would do it, but it felt almost like I had to constantly push them. Whereas now when I ask people the deeper questions of why they have a goal, why they want to do this, and what do you actually want? Like, what do you actually want? Ignore what you think Andy wants for you. Ignore what your family, your parents, everyone else wants for you. What do you actually want? When I ask that question and get to the heart of that, people don't even have ruts. Like, you don't even have a rut. You feel sad one day and you're like, whoa, I still want to take some action today. You take a tiny little baby step. Like, there is no rut. There is no, like, need for motivation or force or discipline or willpower. Like, all of that shit's irrelevant, because your vision of the future is so beautiful that you wake up and you just feel love in your heart thinking about what the future might hold, and grateful for the fact that you get to be on that journey.
So yeah, I guess for anybody listening, if you have goals that you want to achieve, asking yourself that why and having that help you be a motivator can be really, really helpful. And I've definitely found with like good coaches that I've had, it's one that comes up a lot with fitness as well. People are like, why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to go to the gym and have that body? Like, what's the reason? Because naturally there are going to be days where you're feeling less energetic, or a series of hurdles come up for you and you mightn't be super inspired or motivated. But having that deeper why and that reason that means a lot to you is what's going to drive you and keep you going.
Yeah, for sure. More things we're grateful for. I am very grateful for the women that we've been seeing and dating and talking to lately. I think we've opened up a lot more, and we were already pretty open and pretty honest and stuff. But I think I, in particular, have been more open to just having less expectations and being more grateful for whatever anyone gives us. As a couple of examples, we've seen quite a few girls recently, like 3 girls in the last year maybe, who only saw us once or twice for various different reasons. They were either extremely stressed, they weren't super happy in themselves, or they had a job, or they just were busy with university, whatever the reasons might have been. And in the past, I used to get frustrated and tell stories about that. And I would be like, God damn it, like, why would you sleep with us once or twice? But then, like, why did you bother if you're this busy with university and you're working like 2 jobs? Like, you should have known that you don't have time for dating. Like, I would get very frustrated. And that just isn't the case anymore. Now I'm very like grateful for, even if we only go on 1 date with them, even if they only message us a little bit from Tinder or something and they don't end up meeting us. They're like, hey, actually, I changed my mind. I don't even want to meet you guys for a coffee, or they ghost or they flake or something. I'm still grateful for that conversation that we had, that little tiny connection that we got to build. And if we end up having sex once or twice, I'm grateful for that experience and for them opening up and sharing. So I feel a lot more gratitude for just women that we date in general.
And it's funny, it was something that we were having a conversation about a few days ago, that because I think definitely a lot more so you, Andy, are having more gratitude just for the experiences that we are having when it comes to dating at the moment. We seem to be learning a lot from everybody. Like, there seems to be a new lesson for you and I in our relationship to learn as a couple from these other women, whether we're just going on dates.
Every single woman has taught us something in the last 6 months because we've been open to it. It feels like literally everyone that we've dated, even if we've just gone on 1 date with them, has taught us something. Maybe they've taught us patience. Maybe they've taught me love and like unconditional love. If they're not doing exactly what I want, can I still be loving towards them? If they ghost us, can I still feel love in my heart for my fellow human being? Can I not take it personally? Can I feel love for myself? And be like, hey, don't take it personally that this person doesn't want to see you anymore. Like, that's part of self-love, is just going, hey, she's got a busy life, or she has her reasons, or maybe she's just not that into you, or whatever. Like, great, cool. I still know who I am, blah, 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 blah. And that's been a journey for the last, I don't know, 5 years, because I used to get very frustrated. Maybe the last 10 years, I used to take it very personally if someone didn't want to date me. I would get very frustrated, and I had a lot of like abundance and all of that. So, I wasn't exactly sitting there heartbroken for like years if someone didn't want to date me or didn't want to sleep with me. But I would take it very personally, and I would express a lot of frustration to you. And sometimes it would take me like a week to get over it if someone ghosted us or flaked on us or just didn't want to see us anymore, especially if it was someone that we'd already seen a few times and maybe we liked them a little bit. That just hasn't been the case for like 6 months, and I'm really grateful for that. It's much more peaceful to have no expectations and just see what someone has to offer, like what they want to give you. And if they don't want to give you anything, that's beautiful. They've taught you a learning lesson that not everyone wants to give to you. We've also focused a lot on giving to them. And I've been putting more effort into giving to other people and being more generous and being more kind and loving and compassionate and mentoring them. And I was already doing that stuff already, but like really doubling down on that, because that is the thing that brings at least me the most joy, building a connection and giving to another human being, even if that's just a casual relationship.
Yeah, and I think just generally the feelings and the emotions around dating for us have shifted and have kind of been moving and kind of resettling and finding a place as of late, and it does feel like it's been a really positive thing. So I am
more peaceful.
Really grateful for that. And it was interesting actually before you were speaking about abundance and how in the past you knew you could keep having sex with new people, but at the same time there was still that, I guess, pain and suffering when one particular person, like things didn't work out, so to speak. And I think that's a helpful thing to acknowledge, that even if tangibly you do have a lot of abundance in your life, if you are, I guess, not truly peaceful or focused on the negative or have some insecurities or things to let go of, it doesn't matter how much sex you have, you're still going to be hung up on the times that it didn't work or focus on the rejections. It's like the guy that's a millionaire but is still stingy because he's like so afraid.
He's scared of losing all his millions of dollars, yeah?
Yeah, and so funnily enough, regardless of how much money you make or how many people you sleep with or how attractive you look, how much muscle you have, whatever that might be, I think we could circle this back to why we're so drawn towards like the peace and the spirituality stuff is because, one, you appreciate the things that you have a hell of a lot more, and it's a lot easier like right now to sit here and be grateful. Also, like you're not feeling so pulled by the times where things don't work out. And you're able to acknowledge and accept and be grateful for them with a lot more grace.
I think I can sum it up like this. I had abundance, sexual abundance. I had abundance, but I didn't have abundance mentality. I had abundance, but I felt like I never had enough, and I felt like I always needed more. It was just a story that I told. If this person doesn't like me, then I don't know. I had this idea in my head, this magical place you could get to where like no one would reject you and no one would ever not sleep with you. And I thought like I could get closer and closer to that. I knew that perfection didn't exist, but I thought that if I just kept improving and kept doing a better job of screening and all of that, that somehow I would get to a point where every woman loved me and wanted to sleep with me and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's obviously insane, but it wasn't necessarily a rational thought. And a lot of guys have that thought. A lot of women do too. A lot of women literally have the thought of like, if I can just like get this guy or get all guys to love me, like then they'll never reject me. They'll never yell at me. They'll never hurt me. They'll just love me forever. And we can be like freaking Beauty and the Beast and come together, and it can be this beautiful, like happily ever after stuff. And it's like, the real world doesn't necessarily work like that. Not that you can't find someone to be happy with. I'm not saying that, but like the idea that you could make everybody like you, or that everyone would want you, or that you would always have millions of dollars and everyone would want to give you money and no one would ever ask for a refund and no one would ever say no to your like coaching pitch or something. It's just insane. Like that isn't a world that exists, at least as far as I can tell.
Yeah. And I guess ultimately the summary of all of this is that we are really grateful. Gratitude can be a really beautiful exercise, and I guess in some ways we've also given a bit of an update of where we are and some things that are happening with us at the moment, and it can be nice every now and then to have a casual chat. I know that you, Andy, sometimes put a bit of pressure on yourself that you need to jam pack every single podcast episode with value and information and something
I'm going to change your
people.
life in every video, guys and girls. I have to just pour all of my heart and soul into every single podcast. Yeah.
But
I put that pressure on myself.
Sometimes videos like this, like obviously there was some information still here, but in addition to that, I think it just can be nice to have a more chill energy. So I'm grateful
Oh,
for
yeah.
that, and that we can vary things up sometimes.
Hell yeah, brother and sister. Yeah, I'm grateful. And in terms of updates, we've been kicking along with the business, doing cool things there, seeing friends, enjoying hobbies. We've had a little bit of sex lately, and I've obviously been blogging about that. I sometimes will write up a little story about what we've gotten up to, over on my blog. So that's lots of fun. We've been having a fair bit of fun exploring some stuff that we haven't done before, like kinks and different fantasies and stuff like that. But yeah, life's going pretty good. I'm really grateful. And obviously, if you'd like help with any of your goals, I have coaching. I will leave a link in the description below to that. And if you're not sure if you want to join the big, hardcore coaching program, you can jump on a $200 coaching call with me, and we go for as long as we need to, a couple of hours if we need to, talk about anything you want to talk about, work through goals, set up a plan. I've had lots of people sign up for those and say, holy crap, this changed my life. And it was literally just a couple of hours with Andy. So those are down below. And I will run the coaching pitch at the end of this. I might run the nice one that Taylor made, where he expressed a lot of gratitude for me and sort of talked about the coaching program and how it helped him because he was a client and now he's a coach. Yeah, I'm grateful to all of you listening. Grateful to you, little missy. Look at this cute little face. Who wouldn't be grateful for this little cute little face?
So go out there and have a really grateful day.
If you want to. Don't tell these people what to do. Dictator. Fucking authoritarian.
Hey everyone, I want to make this quick video just sharing my experience having been both on the outside and inside of Andy's coaching group and kind of what it's like to be on the inside. Initially, I feel like you see Andy on YouTube, you maybe read his website, and you know that he offers coaching. I was kind of thinking like, hey, cool. I'm sure it'd be cool to get to talk to Andy and get to learn a little bit about him. That would probably be really cool. It wasn't clear at all to me just how much value and how much he puts into his coaching. This man will pour his heart and soul out for you in terms of the amount of care and love that he shows to his coaching clients, the energy and just the sheer time that he dedicates to people. It's quite impressive. It's something really special. And it's not just Andy. It's also, myself now. I now help out with the coaching, and Ed and Cameron, all of us, and particularly Andy. He's become quite a good coach at this point. So yeah, I feel like it's not really obvious just hearing Andy talk about his coaching program, because the way the internet is, everyone is using hyperbole, these 3 things that'll change your life, on and on. You know how it is. And it's all kind of exaggerated. That's just tends to be the way marketing works. And it kind of waters it down to where none of it has a lot of meaning, or you're not really sure what translates to what until you do take the plunge. So as someone who took the plunge and signed up for coaching, yeah, it's something really special. Andy genuinely will pour out his heart and soul for you. It's incredible the amount of care that he shows people. I've experienced it myself. I've also seen it in numerous other people at this point. The first week that people sign up for coaching, they're really excited. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you probably just put down a bunch of money. You took a bit of a gamble here and a little leap of faith putting down that money and signing up for the coaching group. And by the way, it's not really a huge gamble. It feels like you took a pretty big leap of faith, and you're in the group and you're like, okay, what the hell? What is this coaching group? What's this even going to be like? Pretty immediately you start to see oh, holy shit. This is pretty special. Everyone in here is super supportive. The coaches are all showing me a ton of love and care. God damn. I feel like this is more than my money's worth. That's basically what I want to share about the coaching program and Andy himself, is that he very much over delivers. He will pour his heart and soul out for his coaching clients, even just in the sheer amount of time that he'll give you. If he's got something to say, he's routinely writing mini novels in response to people. He's recording custom voice notes. Often they're 30 or 45 minutes. I mean, I know it might not seem like it because Andy does a lot in terms of content and website, and he has other things going on, but really he focuses a ton of love and energy on his coaching group, and it's a really special experience to be in there. just want to share that because I don't think it's completely obvious looking at it from the outside, just watching Andy's YouTube content, etc., listening to his podcast. It's not really obvious just how much you're getting and how much Andy and the other coaches are going to go hard for you. So if you're kind of in the boat that I was, where you're not really sure and you're kind of on the fence, that's my perspective. It's incredible, and Andy over delivers.